Time for Adam at the Movie.
Yeah. So if you've been living under a rock, you might not know that The Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming out this weekend. Well, let's just kind of summarize what's happening here. It's been 20 years since her life in fashion and actually journalism began for Andy Sachs. That's Anne Hathaway. But she finds herself looking for work because she's been working for a newspaper very successfully, but that newspaper folds all of a sudden. Oh, well, that's telling in the whole media industry, right? Conveniently, she gets a job working back for the fashion magazine where her whole career began once again. But that puts her right back in the throes of Miranda Priestley, which is Meryl Streep. And then that also pits her against Emily Blunt. Take a look at the trailer for Devil Wears Prada 2.
I'm feeling fab, I'm feeling free, I feel exceptional.
You are here to help us through our current scandal.
Click, 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 everywhere.
But I did not hire you, and all I need to do is bide my time until you fail. Won't you take the train, dear?
Might show up late, might be on time. Just wait, I'm coming.
I'm going to make something of this job.
You could write a book. The definitive Miranda Priestley expose.
May the bridges I burn light my way.
Wait. Hope that's not what you're wearing to the dinner. That's all.
Cindy, we need that. The Brunello Cucinelli pants, love those. And we definitely need an embroidered two-piece totem set, but not the terracotta because you're so pale.
Yeah. Who doesn't love Stanley Tucci? Actually, Stanley Tucci is the real standout in this latest edition. You've got Meryl Streep, of course, resuming or coming back as Miranda Priestley, sort of the underspoken, ever-cutting boss with, she has the sharp razor wit, right? Well, this is the same creative force from 2006. We've got David Frankel as the director. We've got Aileen Brosh McKenna and Lauren Weisberger as the writers for this. So do we see something left in the tank? 20 years later, do they have the zhuzh, the gusto to come up with brand new, fresh ideas? Sadly, no, they don't.
No.
We do get a lot of fashion, and that's what this is all about. And I kind of pair this closely. Remember when Sex and the City came out? It was an event, right? Yeah. And when I went to the press screening for that, I remember going nuts for it. And people were, it was a whole event. Then there was Sex and the City 2. People were going nuts for it. And there was this collective, I think, sort of sigh and letdown that came with that. And I feel like that's where we're headed with this.
Well, the plot I have questions about because she loses her job because newspapers are hurting.
Yes.
She goes to a magazine. Magazines are hurting.
And that's actually one of the driving forces in this, is that the magazine is hurting, and now they're trying to save this magazine somehow. So that becomes one of the driving plot points, which is an interesting and relevant subject when it comes to media consumption, the way we consume media around the world now. It's shifted dramatically in the last 20 years. So it does speak to that.
I mean, you know, in the end, it's going to all work out, right? That's right. They're going to be friends, and it's not going to be scary.
So that's right. We've got frenemies. We've got frenemies. I think the collective feeling we all had when we walked out of this was, it's fine. Is it as funny? No. Is it as cutting?
Bummer.
No. Is the fashion as sharp? They do feature a lot of it. It just feels kind of empty as far as tank is concerned. Like they were running on E, and they didn't really fuel up. Maybe the fuel charges were too pricey. Yeah, it was too expensive to put the fuel in the tank.
Wasn't Emily Blunt, that was kind of her breakout role 20 years ago in this movie, right?
Yeah.
So is there a bigger role for her this time around?
There is.
She's a star now.
Yeah, and she continues. I mean, all of them sit their parts, and they all do well in them. I just wish they did more or gave us something more to really revel in. There is one takeaway on this, though, that I did take. When I heard earlier this week on NPR, there was an interesting observation they made, and that this film really explores women in power and how women in the business place use their power or don't. Specifically, Meryl Streep, when she gets angry, she doesn't get loud. She brings it very quiet and brings it in, and she cuts that way. And it's much more frightening, but it's very effective. So it's an interesting study on women's power in the workplace. Take that for what it is. It's almost 2 hours. It's an hour 59, PG-13. I'm giving it 2 pops. That's
2 pops.
At least you got 2 pops.
Yeah.
I would say after 20 years, though, they all look pretty much the same.
Really
Isn't that wild?
They do exactly the same.
Correct. And they didn't really advance their characters a whole lot either. So you're kind of getting the same. There's no growth.
So fold some clothes, do some laundry, and watch this.
Fold your fashion.
At home. All right. Yeah.